Okay,
Yeah.
so what made you get the course in the first place? There's a million different courses out there teaching you how to generate an income online. Why did you get mine among all those?
Well, you were speaking to who I am, which is somebody who wants time and location freedom anyways. But the
Mhm.
thing is, I've tried many different things. I've tried many different programs and, the funnel building course that I took. And I just didn't have a mentor that I felt like really guides me through these processes. So like when you were talking on your advertisement, I was like, you know what? He has all these qualities that I'm missing, like super organized and thorough and like very well covered in that area. And also I liked how you were talking to my inner perfectionist and you said, that making ads is like a science, not art. And it really clicked with me because I'm like, okay, now I don't have to be perfect and follow like intuition, but you're like, no, it's science. You can test it. You will just try hundreds of different ones and see what works. So I was like, you know what? This is doable. This is like, I just felt like it would be doable that I can learn it and I can practice until I get it. It was very encouraging.
Yeah, it clicked. And that's one of the main things that I keep repeating to students every day. Remember, don't try to create a piece of art. It's science. Just try to create as much as you can, and eventually something's going to work. Which is hard because a lot of people like to sit down and from the beginning try to do something that's going to be really cool. It's natural. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
clicked. Okay, now after you joined, what were your thoughts about the course, about working directly with me? Yeah, what did you think?
Well, I when I started the course, then after the first video already, I was like, okay, yeah, this is the right thing. Like, this is the right person to follow because the way you were covering all bases, like I would literally have questions in the beginning of the video, and by the end of it, it would be all answered because you're covering all these different corners or different ways of looking at this one problem. And at the end of it, it's like, wow, everything was explained. Like, so awesome. Let's do it. Like, let's try a first challenge or whatever. Let's try to put it in action or play around. It's so nice to follow you because you really are thorough. And I think with something like this, all bases have to be covered because the more questions you have in the process that are unanswered, the more demotivating it feels to keep going.
Yep. Yeah, all bases do have to be covered, especially in such a job like media buying where, and that's one of the reasons why I say to every student, don't try to rush, like watch every lesson multiple times because that most of the answers should be there. If they're not, obviously you can always ask me, but most of the answers should be there. And a lot of the times when you think the answers aren't there is because you just watched the lesson one time and you took your first notes. That's why it takes watching multiple times, taking a lot of notes. And
It
that's
took
why,
me 5 hours to go through a 1.5 hour video. It took me 5 hours to really work through it and understand it. And like, yeah, it took many times of writing notes over and over. And like, yeah, because at first it's a lot of information. So, when somebody is thinking like, can I get just an easy way out and score an easy job? You still have to put in a lot of effort to,
of course, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that because it's definitely not, it's not an easy job. It's not an easy way out. And that's a good segue for the next question, which is now that you've been in it for a little bit, what would you say to the people that haven't joined yet? They're skeptical. Some people might even think it's a scam because it sounds too good to be true. Some people are on the fence. What would you say to them?
Well, I wouldn't say it's too good to be true because the thing is, you're making money for the corporations. Like spending 10 grand on somebody to make them 100 grand in a month, it's a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't they pay you that? The thing is, you just have to get good, and that's by practice, and that's by putting in the effort. So, like, I think with anything online, if if you just keep going at it, you will become successful. But like with my other projects, I never became successful because I didn't put in the right effort and I didn't have the right mentor to do it. And I had too many questions. I got stuck and I quit. That's like a pattern that I've had in the past. So this time I really wanted to do it differently, you know, like I really wanted to put in the effort. And I think, you know, for somebody who would think if it's a scam, they would have to think if they are willing to actually be serious, because obviously it's not a scam. Obviously you're a real person and, you know, teaching people from your real skill. Now it's up to them to use it, you know?
100%. And that's the mindset, like that mindset shift that you had. That's what you need.
Hmm.
Because nothing's gonna work no matter how good a course is if you don't have that mindset of I'm
Hmm.
gonna be serious about this. I have to do this. So
Exactly.
yeah, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, it's better to make a like a very clear decision and maybe even sit with it. Like making decisions like that, I usually rushed into them with emotions, and this time I also sat with it and like made sure that I'm serious about it, you know.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you so much.